Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Signature West Podcast. I'm your host, Sam West from Palm Springs, California. Today, we're doing something different. I'm doing the TikTok live on the phone, and I'm doing the recording the podcast. So, a little adventurous, but fun. I want to maximize as much as I can. So, welcome, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. It's Thursday morning. So, hello, TikTok, everybody. Good morning from beautiful Palm Springs. Today, I want to touch base on the topic that you've all heard of, recently. Either you read about it somewhere, or you heard of it somewhere, or your somebody told you about it, or your realtor told you about it, which is the new real estate practice starting June of 2024. I did a couple of podcasts a few months ago about it. If you want to go back and listen, there's also a blog that I wrote on my website, um, breaking all of it down so there's no confusion. But I'm here today for one thing and one thing only, and we're gonna get to that in a minute. Please, if you don't know what I'm talking about here on TikTok, just let me know and I'll break it down for you. But I'm sure you've heard there's a new sheriff in town starting June, about June of this year. If you are a buyer looking for a piece of property, you have to sign an agreement with your realtor agreeing that he's going to represent you looking for a property. It could be a property, it could be 16 properties, it could be for 6 months, it could be for a year, it could be for 1 month, depending on the situation. And there's a compensation involved in the event the seller does not pay the buyer's agent. That's in a layman term. The other main point is that the seller are no longer required like they used to provide compensation for the buyer's agent. A lot of people are freaking out. A lot of people are, the market's gonna crash, the market's gonna slow down. I'm not sure where that came from, to be honest with you. Um, it might slow down, but it's not because of this. If it does, it does. But I'm not sure where the correlation in the narrative in the media came from. It was kind of like an autopilot thing. The minute this thing happened, oh my God, the market's gonna crash. Oh my God, the market's gonna come down. I'm not sure how that took place. Um, things will change. Things will be different. Different is not necessarily bad. But here's what ticked me off last week. So, excuse me. So right now, um, the form, the buyer's agreement form, I think it's like 3 pages long. Hold on, let me just see it here. Hold on. Here it is. Here it is. It's 3 pages long. Not too bad. One, two, three. Not too bad. So the people that got us in this mess in the first place, no names mentioned, um, now they're trying to, repair the ship. And usually when someone in that situation that tried to repair their listen, I'm not saying that they did something wrong, but they were found guilty of so much, you have to pay so much. That's the end of the day, it is what it is. Whether they did something wrong or not, they were found guilty of certain practice. It wasn't my doing. The judge said so. The jury said so. So don't yell at me, yell at them. So I heard last week from our local board. I'm in California, which all the local boards, they're all separate, but we're all governed by the main. That they're going to redo this form, and it's going to be 9 pages long. My first reaction was 9 pages long. I mean, if you want to, be protective, you're almost now overboard. It's almost like when you get into a car accident and now you start to drive again, you're driving 2 miles an hour. This doesn't make you a good driver. In fact, it makes you a worse driver. But because you're so cautious, I don't want to get into an accident again. So I'm going to go at 2 miles an hour. 9 pages long for a first-time buyer, any kind of buyer that just wants to look at a condominium or two, or a house or two. They need to fill out and read and question and understand 9 pages. I think it's obscene. I think it's obscene. And I think it's a big turnoff. And I think it's a big unwarranted and no need for it. But again, my first reaction was, you messed up, you people messed up, and now you're gonna show your overprotected way of doing things. So we're gonna make this form, gonna add more to it, more paragraphs, and more guidelines, which in fact you don't really need. Any attorney will tell you. You just need to specify what is the agent doing for the buyer, for how long, what kind, what part of town, compensation, yada yada yada. So my first reaction was these poor buyers, because if you've been a home before, any of you, it's a very overwhelming process. It's a very overwhelming process. Doesn't matter if you did it for the first time or you did it 100 times. It's a lot, especially with everybody being so busy with their lives, their work and their kids and all this stuff. And now you want them to take time out to go through 9 pages to go look at a condominium that they find out, oh my God, that condo, I wouldn't be caught dead living in it. So I just spent I don't know how long reading and trying to understand and getting my attorney to explain to me 9 pages, nothing. So that's what happened last week. If you have any questions on TikTok, you guys let me know. Here's the good news. We're not brokers are not obligated to use these forms. They can use their own. Thank God. And I'm very happy, so happy that my broker, not gonna be in that realm of noise. Gonna make a very simple, cohesive form, to the point, direct, with all that's required, so it doesn't overwhelm you, the buyer. It doesn't, depress you, for lack of a better word. So that to me is exciting, and I just wanted to share with you guys that out there. Depending who you're working with, this can vary. But again, it was almost offensive to hear that the big shot umbrella is going to make this form now 9 pages. And of course, that means you have to go through training to learn about the 9 pages. I don't know about you. After the first or second page, my brain freezes. Because there's some verbiage there. It's like, okay, what does this really mean? Well, if you wore red, what does it mean? But I wore green, and it gets to be so convoluted. And again, it's so obvious that the only reason they're doing that is because they want to extra protect their back. Because after what they've been through, they're spending a lot of money on this lawsuit, the judgment that they had to endure. So I get it, but I don't think that's the right approach to for the future practice. That's just my opinion. I'm not an attorney, and I just like less is more. So yeah, so for me, I'm happy that starting in June or before, our forms for the buyer's agreement, it's gonna be simple and clear, So you're busy with your life. You whatever you do as a buyer, you're busy with your life. I don't have to bombard just to go look at a condominium, look at a house. My job, first of all, I'm not selling you anything. You've heard me that say before, over and over again. I'm not a salesperson. I don't associate with that term at all. I'm not selling you anything. I'm collaborating with you. So what good am I if gonna collaborate with you but make your life miserable in the meantime? That's not collaboration. And I'm gonna blame it. Well, they told me to use a form. Well, luckily I don't have to use that form. I have to use a form that's either made by the broker or by the hierarchy. Um, or if I don't use a form at all, it's not against the law. I just want to get people to get paid. You know, I can do it without using a form with the buyer, but I have no leg to stand on when I want to get paid. So it's kind of oxymoronic if someone does that. So yeah. Um, any questions out there, people? Um, sorry, Zoom. I'm just doing two things at the same time. Looks like you're good, people. So yeah. So when in your come June and after, and you're in the process of looking for real estate, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And not every broker might have a form. They might not have gone through the due diligence and the work and the effort with their attorney to create this form that's easy and simple to use for their agents and clients. Not every broker might do that. They might just depend on the other form to use and use that form, and that's it. 9 pages. That might be the case. I can't speak for what other people will do, but for me, I'm just very excited that I don't have to explain 9 pages. And can you imagine? I'm gonna have to explain to you 9 pages, how many paragraphs on each page, and to explain it to you one by one, and go show you a condominium or a single family and just say, God, I hate that house. And then we're kind of like, go our own separate ways till you find the next one. It just doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound efficient. It's very fear driven. And that happens often when those situations happen. When big lawsuits happen and big corporations, they just try to like double, triple on their forms as if, um, but like I said, they're just forms. So, so that's what I have to say this morning. Um, any questions, let me know. And just to reiterate, it really isn't going to be that much different from now, how everybody's paying who, how everybody's getting paid. Just the seller is not obligated, use the word obligated, I didn't say, not going to obligated to pay compensation for the buyer's agent. However, listen to me very carefully. However, the buyer's agent and the buyer, during the presentation of the offer, can ask, there's another form, ask the seller, we're going to offer you X, Y, and Z, and we also want you to pay, excuse me, sorry, but we also want you to pay the buyer's agent X, Y, and Z. Seller can say yes. Seller can say no. Seller can say maybe. I'll meet you halfway. It's a whole different conversation. So nobody's gonna die. Nobody's gonna, work for free. It's just things are being refined, which they're way overdue. It reminds me during COVID, the public, which you and COVID, the public would call us on the phone. Hey, I want to see this house on Palm Canyon today at 2 o'clock. And I would say, I'm sorry, sir, but I'm booked. Well, what does that mean? You're booked. I'll get somebody, give somebody else to show it to me. I said, well, I can't. He goes, well, fine, I'll find somebody else. Boom. And they call somebody else. The arrogance, because they knew that a lot of people would just jump and show them, and they were like slaves. Their arrogance was, they want to see the house now. They're not pre-qualified. They're not pre-approved. If you ask them to get pre-approved or pre-qualified, they're gonna yell at you. They would yell at me. Well, what do you mean? I don't have to show you my pre-approved. It was a whole different mindset. They felt like they were entitled. They want to see the house today. They want to see it now. If you don't show it to me, this agent will show it to me, and they probably will find somebody to show it to them, and drive in the car an hour to show it to them, which I thought was morally wrong and and just a bad business practice. So come June, you won't be able to do that phone call and demand from me, hey, show me this house at 2 o'clock. I'll show you at 2 o'clock if I'm free, but we also have to have an understanding of who's doing what to whom. And once we have that tone, we're all going to change our tone a little bit. I think there's to be a lot more respect, a lot more dignity in the conversation, and because we are not, I'm not selling you anything. We're not paper pushers. So that mentality is going to change. By the end of the year, by 2025, things will change. Things will change. Some will leave the industry altogether. They just can't handle, or they don't know how to navigate. That's fine. It's fine. So, just checking here. Any questions out there, you guys? Okay. And again, this is, by the way, across the country. This is just not in California. It's across the country. But I can only speak for California and this 9 pages situation. But if you live somewhere else, from part of the country, check with your agent. Stay informed. Don't panic. Don't panic, and don't buy into these. My God, the stories online and in the media. The 6% is dead. Who said? Who said? What happened is the seller is no longer required to pay the half, the 3% to the other side. You can pay the 3% to his agent. He's not required to pay the other 3. The other side can ask for it, which in most cases the seller will have to agree to pay it because the seller wants to sell their house. A seller wants to sell his or her home. And it ain't gonna sell for free. No one's gonna do it for free. So sellers are not gonna be like standing there. I'm not paying any bit extra dime. I'm gonna sell my house anyway. Sell it for me. I'm not gonna pay extra penny. It's just not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. So get ready for the changes. It's very exciting, and I hope this was informative. And reach out if you have any questions. And till next time, I'm Sam West from Palm Springs, California.